Huawei has made great strides over the past few years in the wearables market, offering watches with great fitness tracking and battery life, but without huge price tags. And the latest of those is the Watch GT3. I'm Cam Bunton from Pocket-lint, and this is our review. And while you're here, if you could tap like, subscribe and the notification bell, that would be lovely. If there's one thing that can be said for Huawei's recent crop of fitness-focused smartwatches, it's that they're very good looking. There's a shine and a polish to them that you don't get from most other tech manufacturers. While many look like watches designed as pieces of tech first, Huawei's look like real watches. It's the decisions made in shaping and materials that does it for me, especially in this 46mm model. The larger of the two watch sizes features a single piece of glass on the top, which features an indexed angled bevel all the way around the display. The flat surface gives way seamlessly to the bezel, which then slopes down and joins the polished stainless steel case. It's an exercise in precision and one that's extremely attractive. The only downside of this design is that it will be too large for some wrists. Now, being a 186cm tall person with relatively large wrists, I didn't personally find it an issue at all, but I imagine it'll look quite comical on some smaller arms. Despite that, it still retains a sleek and slim look. It doesn't look too big and bulky thanks to being quite thin. In fact, compared to the chunkier Watch 3 Pro, it is very slim. Taking its influence from the Watch 3 series, the Watch GT3 has ditched the GT2's two-button layout and adopted a rotating crown. This is well positioned at the top of the case's right side, acting as a scroll wheel for various parts of the interface. That means you're not forced to use the touchscreen all the time. Now, the bottom button is a slim, low-profile back button. It's also set by default to launch into a workout tracking session. Now, because of their positions at the top and the bottom of a round case, we never found we accidentally pressed it when our hand bent back. So they never get in the way. It's well considered and not something that every manufacturer gets right. Turn it over and there are no exposed pins or contact points, because the watch charges completely wirelessly using a magnetic disc that snaps easily onto the back. Here you'll also see the updated optical sensor. Now, even the quick-release design of the straps, bands and watch lugs are well designed. One lug on either side of the watch has a tiny groove in it, so you can anchor the watch strap's pin in the opposite side and simply push it into place. You don't need to sit fiddling for ages to get it in the right position. As for band and strap compatibility, again, there's no worry. The GT3 is compatible with any 22mm strap. So if Huawei's own straps don't take your fancy, it's very easy to find one elsewhere that works for you. Saying that, the brown leather strap that shipped with our Classic Edition model is elegant, attractive and works well with the shiny silver case. Now onto the display, and in some ways this completely round AMOLED based panel is one of the best smartwatch screens we've seen, at least when it comes to brightness and colours and contrast. It looks good all the time. The contrast is high and means you can read it clearly in pretty much any condition. Now, while not the fastest and smoothest around, the refresh rates aren't as bad as they were on previous GT models. In fact, animations are generally fairly smooth. Of course, when you come from having used 90Hz and 120Hz smartphone screens day in and day out for the past 12 months, there is some slight stuttering that you notice, but it's never to the point of being painful. Being a relatively large screen also means plenty of room for information and detail. That means there are lots of different options available to watch face designers for index and complication design. It also means there's plenty of room for data during exercise too. Now, what we like about Huawei's own interface built on HarmonyOS 2.1 is how simple it is to understand. There are custom cards or widgets to the right of the watch face, each with a simple, attractive interface. You can choose up to 6 of these, and they include things like weather, moon phase, your daily activity, heart rate and sleep data, among others. A decent screen is nothing without good watch faces, and in this department Huawei is something of a mixed bag. On the plus side, there are hundreds and hundreds of available watch faces to install on the watch. Many of them are paid for, but there are plenty of free options as well. Where Huawei misses a trick is in customization. Even its own homemade styles, there's very little option to change them. Some will let you change the data shown in the complications and that's it. No changing colour schemes, index styles or accents. Others don't let you change a single thing. It's a far cry from the customization abilities of the Apple Watch or Samsung's latest Wear OS based Galaxy Watch 4. And that's not all that's missing from the smartwatch kit bag. Huawei's watch may show you smartphone notifications, but that's all it really does. You can't interact with them really that much on the screen. Huawei's watch is also missing contactless payment support in the UK at least, as well as any support for third-party music platforms. So you can manually drag and drop music onto your watch, but you can't install Spotify or Deezer or Apple Music or any other streaming service for offline listening. Given that this is a full-color AMOLED screen like most smartwatches, that means it's off most of the time in order to maximize battery life. The raise to wake functionality is generally reliable though, so you can see the time whenever you need to just by raising your wrist. However, you can always activate the always on mode, which shows time all the time, but also negatively impacts the battery. Now there's one standout area Huawei has really delivered on over the past couple of years. It's in health and fitness tracking. Not only because of the hardware capabilities of the watch itself, but also due to the versatility of Huawei Health and its offerings. While Huawei boasts up to 100 plus workout modes, it's really the runners who will benefit the most from Huawei's latest watch. It has more light sensors in it for heart blood monitoring. That also means it's more reliable and accurate than previous models. So in daily use you might not see a huge difference in results between this and the Watch 3 series, but compare it to older Watch GT models and you will see major improvements. The Watch GT3 can track heart rate all day every day, while also constantly tracking your blood oxygen saturation if you enable it, and can do both of these without significant battery drain. It's also got dual band GPS for more precision in route and distance tracking during running or outdoor exercise. Now compared to the Garmin Fenix 6, which we wear on the other wrist, it tracks distances, heart rate and cadence very consistently. As you'd expect, the data doesn't match exactly between these two watches, but it is very, very close. Heart rate was only 1 or 2 beats per minute different, as was cadence in steps per minute. And when it came to distance, the difference was down to the tens of meters rather than hundreds. Now there are added benefits for runners this year too. The new watch has what it calls a running ability index, which takes your data like distance, heart rate, effort, pace, and determines how strong a runner you are, and gives you something tangible that you can use as a metric for improvement. And if you don't know how to improve, you can take advantage of Huawei Health's training plans for distances from 5K up to marathon. Now moving on to performance and battery life, and in most instances when you get a smartwatch with a full color screen, your battery life will last about 36 hours at best on a full charge. But Huawei goes above and beyond this, considerably. A full battery on the Huawei Watch GT3 will get you about 2 weeks on a full charge, when being used in its regular smartwatch mode. Now, this is based on average usage with the always on display switched off. And it's not some impossible to reach battery life promise either, it's a realistic impression. After a full week using the GT3, our battery was down to just 48%. That's having used it with its 24/7 heart rate and SpO2 tracking enabled, and having used it for 3 run sessions a week, one of which was about 50 minutes long. Plus, on the nights we wore it to bed, it tracked our sleep through the night too. It's so good you'd have to try really hard to get it to drain in a week. Now in many ways, the Watch GT3 makes more sense than the more premium Watch 3 series. It's cheaper, has a longer lasting battery, and is as good a fitness tracker, if not better, and it costs less. If it had support for third-party offline music playback for services like Spotify or interactive notifications and a contactless payment system, it would arguably be the best smartwatch for Android users on the market, but it doesn't. So at the moment, it's a very nice looking watch with great fitness tracking. So there you have it, the Huawei Watch GT3. Let me know what you think of this watch in the comments, or you can reach me on Twitter if you need to. I'm at Cam Bunton. Don't forget, if you did like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, it helps us a great deal. Hit subscribe and tap the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any more of our videos. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.